Okay, viewers, this is Dr. VOND, Dr. James VOND, and today's date is Tuesday, 3rd of March, 2026. And right now I'm at my usual place of pizza eatery, which is the Pizza Hut on Fairfax Street in Coventry City Centre. And I've just ordered myself a pizza, but I thought I'd make this video as well. And continuing on the subject from yesterday, if you can recall, I made a video at Primark Superstore yesterday in Broadgate Coventry Centre, and I'll just go over that, give you a quick summary of what I went over yesterday. I was talking about the Three Gorges Dam in China in particular, the world's most powerful gravity or hydroelectric dam, and I mentioned that the construction started in 1994 and it was opened in 2003, and it produces annually an average of 95 terawatt hours of electricity, plus or minus 20 terawatt hours, and with 2020 being the peak year of its performance. And on that particular year, they produced a world record breaking 111.80 terawatt hours of electricity. That's in 2020, and that broke the world record, which was held by the Int'l Dam in Brazil, bordering Paraguay, and that was for around 103.1 terawatt hours, and that held the record until from 2016 until it was broken by the Three Gorges Dam in 2020. And the total generating capacity of the Three Gorges Dam is around 22,500 megawatts, which consists of 32 main turbine generators at 700 megawatts each, and also two smaller Francis internal generators at 50 megawatts. And the construction itself cost an estimated 31.765 billion US dollars. And the dam itself is on the Yangtze River in China, in the Yiling district, in the Hubei province. And the project is so big that it actually had an effect on the Earth's axial tilt and its rotational speed. In fact, it increased the length of day. That's the only man-made object, one of the rare man-made objects that has actually increased the length of day, and by 0.06 microseconds. That's what's been calculated by NASA scientists, and it's also had an effect on the axial tilt of the Earth by about 2 centimeters or 0.8 inches. But having said that, although it's had an effect on the Earth's spin and tilt, axial tilt, it's not as much as, say, natural seismic disasters, earthquakes, for instance. They have a much greater effect on the Earth's tilt, axial tilt, and also on its rotational speed. And they usually do the reverse in terms of rotational speed. They usually increase the rotational speed. That's the big difference. So the earthquakes, if you can think of an ice skater spinning around in one spot, it's like bringing the arms in. That's what happens when you get earthquakes. And whereas the Three Gorges Dam is like bringing the arms out when the ice skater is skating, and it's slowing down the planet. So think of it like that. Think of an ice skater in terms of angular momentum and conservation of angular momentum. And it's analogous to that. So an ice skater spinning with his arms out is equivalent to the effect observed when the Three Gorges Dam's been built. In other words, slowing down the length of day by 0.06 microseconds. A very trickle amount. It's hard to observe by normal instrumentation, I should mention. So it does require specialist equipment, and these calculations are made by NASA scientists. Whereas earthquakes, natural seismic disasters, have the opposite effect. It's like the ice skater bringing in the arms, and the earth actually speeds up. I'll give you some examples of some seismic events, natural seismic events. Starting off with the latest, which was in 2011 on 11th of March, and that was the Tohoku earthquake in Japan, which had a magnitude of 9.0 to 9.1 on the Richter scale, and that shortened the length of day by about 1.8 microseconds. So it's spinning faster, obviously, by 1.8 microseconds. And the axial tilt was, in fact, also changed by about 17 centimeters, plus or minus 7 centimeters, or 6.5 inches approximately. And in fact, that's actually one of the greatest effects on the axial tilt, the Japan earthquake of 2011. There's also been an earthquake the year before that, which was 2010, the Chile Mole earthquake, which was a magnitude 8.8 on the Richter scale. And that actually also speeded up the Earth by about 1.26 microseconds and had an effect on the axial tilt of around 3 inches, approximately, or 8 centimeters. And then the 2004 Sumatra Andaman earthquake, which obviously triggered tsunami, and that was a magnitude of 9.1 to 9.3 on the Richter scale, and that actually shortened the length of day by 2.68 microseconds, one of the most effects on the length of day. That was the tsunami earthquake, 2.68 microseconds. That's quite a lot, actually, compared to the other effects. So that's how fast it was spinning faster as a result of that disaster and natural disaster, seismic disaster. And it also had an effect on the axial tilt of around 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters on the mean North Pole, being shifted about 145 degrees eastwards in the longitude. So I just thought I'd give you a quick summary of that again. So in terms of the greatest axial tilt effect, it's obviously the Japanese Tohoku earthquake, 2011 on 11th of March, which has had the greatest effect, 6.5 inches or 17 centimeters, plus or minus 7 centimeters. And the greatest effect on the length of day has been the Sumatra Andaman seismic disaster earthquake, which led to or triggered the tsunami, 9.1 to 9.3 on the Richter scale, and that had a change on the length of day by shortening it by 2.68 microseconds. In other words, it's spinning faster by that amount of time, 2.68 microseconds, off 24 hours. So it's a very small amount, but it can be still measured. So that's about it. But do remember the man-made object, obviously the Three Gorges Dam, is the only thing that's increased the length of day. Only a trickle by 0.06 microseconds. Whereas the seismic disasters, they have actually shortened the day. So that's the quick thing to remember. So it's like I said, an ice skater spinning for earthquakes and seismic disasters. It's like the ice skater bringing the arms in when they're spinning around one spot, and obviously they're speeding up, and that's what happens to the rotation of the planet. It speeds up when you have tectonic seismic activities. Whereas massive projects like the Three Gorges Dam being built, it has the opposite effect. It increases the length of day because it's like bringing the arms out, stretching the arms out, and therefore slowing down the planet by its drag, of course. Anyway, so that's about it for that. I've got to mention that you can donate any money to me at my bank account, like I said in my previous videos, and I'll give you those details as well. In the UK, sort code 110212 and account number 14112566. And if you're outside the UK, you can pay me still, and do go ahead pay me because I'm still waiting to get paid from my overseas viewers outside the UK because I am an international personality, of course, and on the World Wide Web, and my audience is not just restricted to the UK. So I'm a bit disappointed there that I haven't had any help from there outside the UK, and my IBAN number is GB84 HLFX 110212 14112566. That's what you'll also need to quote, and also my BIC or SWIFT number for my account, which is HLFX GB21 F28. And there's really no excuse not to pay me, so don't hesitate. Send me as much as you want. That's all I can say. The greater, the better, of course. But even any small amount, if you can spare some small amount, that's also accepted and welcomed. So it's down to your own discretion and whatever you can afford to send. That's all I want to say to my viewers. And I am a vulnerable adult. I've got to mention that I was rendered homeless, so it's all the better cause. And I am struggling. Obviously, everyone knows that financially. And I've been on social media, content creating for over 5 years now, and over 5 years, and five multiple platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. And still, I haven't had a success yet in terms of monetary success. So. I'm still waiting for that, and I'm looking forward to my viewers. And in the meantime, obviously, I am suggesting my viewers help me out in the meantime. I can't just rely on my viewership. Obviously, you need quite a bit of viewership there. I'm not sure if the viewers are there at the moment, but in the pipeline, obviously. So obviously, you got an option now to pay me in the meantime. And like I said, I was rendered homeless 26th of April 2023. My house was seized off me. And last year, 2025, was quite a bad year and a sad year. I lost my car as well. It failed the MOT, the annual MOT, and I couldn't afford to get it fixed, and I had to sadly depart with it. I had to sell it for scrap, for petty cash, and which was spent on my food and clothing, by the way. It wasn't much I got for that. That's my Peugeot 207 Estate car, and I do miss that car. It took me to the continent, and I used to go on day trips. That's what I could afford. Only day trips, by the way. I'm usually back the next day, but I can't even afford that these days. So it's horrendous, obviously. So spate of bad luck, and also sadly, my mother passed away last year on the 4th of January, 2025, at a care home where she's been held captive. She died at the age of 81. She was a grandmother, in fact, and she had stacks of life. They didn't return her back home, obviously. That's what rendered me homeless ultimately down the line. That's why the house was seized. She was the main tenant responsible for paying the rent. They didn't put my name on a tenancy agreement, and that's why I had to leave as well. And it's all down to her being removed from the house on the 24th of November 2021. That's when she was removed and put in care homes, and then they were sent her back home. And that jeopardised my stay there at the family house, the family council house on Vine Street in Coventry, number 105. And that house was seized by a citizen housing group via Coventry County Court orders. Via Coventry County Court orders. I had nowhere else to go to other than my car, and I slept in my car for plus 13 months. A horrendous ordeal. So if there's any remorse or sympathy towards me, do remember I'm only in supported housing even to this day. When I was discovered by the Jesus Centre housing sport workers sleeping with in my car, I was offered supported housing, and that's where I've been ever since. That's 13 months post my homelessness. 13 months. That's from May 2024. I've been in supported housing. A month or two before the general election. Okay, I'll end this video now. Keep up the support. Watch my videos for free. Absolutely free. Subscribe to my channel and donate as much as you want. 24/7. It's so simple, by simple bank transfer. Dr. Vond, Dr. James Vond, on 3rd of March 2026, inside the Pizza Hut eatery on Fairfax Street in Coventry City Centre.